Hello and welcome to java9s.com. I'm Srinivas. Today we're going to look at the Spring auto wiring. The Spring auto wiring, Spring framework automatically resolves the beans that need to be injected into the target types by inspecting all the elements in the application context. The advantage of Spring auto wiring is that it reduces the configuration that is needed for the properties and constructor arguments for a bean. And once if a type or some other bean is getting updated, Spring auto wiring will automatically get updated. So we don't need to explicitly mention the references again because it is automatically wired. There are four types of auto wiring. First thing is auto wiring, default auto wiring, which is there will be no auto wiring, and then the second one is byName, the third one is a byType, and the last one is a constructor. Now, if you look at the byName, auto wiring byName, actually, Spring with this kind of auto wiring, Spring framework checks the property name and checks out if there is any bean that has got the same property name and tries to inject that bean into the target type. For example, if you see this class student, I have a property of type book with the name Java book, and then I have configured this book as an bean here, something like this. You can see that I have given the name Java book, which is the same as a property name here, and when you mention this auto wire by name, Spring automatically takes care to match whether the type name here, the book name is same as a property name, and injects it into the student. Please remember that the type should match. If the type is not getting matched, then Spring throws an exception. Then coming to the auto wiring by type, here Spring framework tries to check what is the type of the property and checks out if there is any kind of bean of that type is present in the XML. If it is present, then it instantiates that object and tries to inject into the target bean. You can see I have a car class here, and I have an wheel type of property, and I have configured the wheel type of bean here. I've mentioned auto wiring by type. So once if you request for a car object, automatically Spring framework tries to check whether if there is any bean that is configured with the type wheel, and it finds one and tries to inject that wheel object into the car. Please remember that if there is any other bean that is configured with the type wheel, then Spring will not be able to judge which bean needs to be injected into the car. So if there are two beans with the same type, Spring will not make any guesses about what object needs to be injected. So this throws an exception. And the last one is an auto wiring by constructor. This auto wiring by constructor automatically depends on the auto wiring by type in turn. So here you can see, for example, I have an class college, and I have an student object getting referred into that. I have mentioned an college constructor through which I am trying to get a student object. So in the configuration, I have mentioned it as an auto wiring by constructor. Now Spring tries to check what are the arguments and what are the type of the argument, each argument, and tries to find out the same type of beans that are present in the application context. And if the student is present, you can see that first argument is student, and it finds a student bean and tries to inject it through constructor. Even though the auto wiring reduces the configuration, there are certain disadvantages with this using this auto wiring feature. First disadvantage is that when your configuration is going to become more, then it is really hard to identify which beans are getting actually wired because there is no explicit configuration. The second thing is that by if you declare a bean to be auto wired by type or something like that, and you explicitly mention that property, auto wiring is not going to work. And if there are multiple types of beans that are configured, then Spring will not make any guesses about what type of bean, which bean needs to be injected. Now let us see an example about auto wiring. You can see first we'll check with the name. I have this Spring auto wiring, and the referenced libraries are log4j, commons logging, ASM 2.2.3, and rest of all these jars are from the Spring framework. So coming to the auto wiring by name, I have created in a student class, and I have referred a book with a property name as in Java book, and I have a student name here. And then I have other class known as book with the title as a property. Here I have configured the bean, student bean, with auto wiring by name, and then I have also mentioned the book, and the property name is Java book. So because it is auto wired by name, the Spring framework checks for the bean that is having the same name as a property name and creates this object and injects into the student. Coming to auto wiring by type, I have created a car class here, and I have a wheel, and here is the wheel class. Here you can see that I have mentioned auto wiring by type, and Spring takes care of injecting the finding the wheel type of an object that are present in the XML and pushes into the car class. And the third type is in auto wiring by constructor here, and I have mentioned auto wire by constructor, and here it picks the student bean and tries to inject into the college through the constructor. I have created the application context here using a class path application context, and I'm demonstrating the student by name. Here I'm getting the student bean, and I'm trying to print the book title here, and here I'm getting the car object and trying to get the wheel name, and in the third place I'm getting the college and trying to print the student name. So all these are the dependencies that should have been injected using auto wiring. So I'm going to run this program. So you can see that the dependencies are getting injected. So here with the student, I'm able to get the book title as Java programming, and for the car I'm able to get it as an alloy wheel, and college I'm able to get the student name as Michael. You can see that all the properties are actually configured: Java programming, alloy wheel, and the Michael. Student name is Michael. Here I have commented one of the bean type of wheel. Now if I open up this one, I have two beans with the same type as wheel. So this will create a problem when when car class is getting created, because Spring will not be able to decide which bean needs to be injected. It gives the same weightage for both the beans. So if I run this program, you can see that we are getting an exception here. So it is not able to judge which type of bean needs to be injected. So it throws an unsatisfied dependency exception. So that's all about auto wiring. Please leave your comments as feedback. Thank you.